What's up, it's your girl Kivonshe, and I am back with another video. As you can tell by the title, we are about to tackle generational trauma and generational wealth and some tools that you can use to kind of help yourself break out of it as you move from intimate relationships, friendships, relationships with family members, co-workers, whatever. So this video already long. I'm not going to keep this introduction long, so keep on watching as we do our makeup and talk about the things. All right, so what do I mean when I'm talking about generational wealth and generational trauma? First, we're gonna go with the easiest thing that I think a lot of people recognize, and that's the generational trauma, generational wealth, because I think people just naturally be like, okay, money, tired of being broke, tired of my family being broke, tired of my family not owning anything and stuff like that. And it's the easiest route, so I'm just gonna put it out there so we can get to the stuff that truly gets in the way of generational wealth. So this is Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place in the shade, what is this? 5W1.5 Cinnamon. Not looking like my shade, but I've been mixing all of my foundations anyway with the Milani Hydrating Skin Tint in the shade 410 Dark to Deep. So this is just gonna be a way in me cleaning out my little collection. This shit's bright. Ooh, wait till y'all see this. I'ma still go with it because the finish on this is really good, but can you believe that this was a shade match for me. I don't know what happened. But anyway, generational wealth, right? We don't want to be broke, you know. We want to have money. We want to have businesses. We want to do all this other stuff. Now, I don't like when people just make general comments, especially black people, make general comments like, oh, black people don't know how to manage money. They always gonna be broke, X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. Now, is the easy route, everything can be tied back to slavery? Yes, and it's true. But let's indulge those people who love to take that route and always like, well, you can't blame slavery for everything. We're gonna indulge y'all real quick because I'm gonna counter that by saying, of course, if you were a broke black person, and y'all know y'all hear it like, oh, y'all can't give Negroes no money, you know, they're just gonna blow it, boom, boom, boom. Okay, well, you can't give a damn meth addict no money either and expect them to be able to manage their addiction with more money to continue doing the same wrong stuff that they've been doing this whole time. So to be like, oh, you can't give Negroes no money, or oh, they ain't never had no money, they don't know what to do, they're gonna lose their mind. Duh, you're giving them money without resources to even effectively manage the money itself or manage their previous relationship with money. Like, honestly, if you ain't never had no money and you came into a whole bunch of money, go to therapy. Get you a financial advisor that's not your cousin or your uncle or your mama or that one auntie who's like, remember when I used to have you do all your performances in my basement or whatever? Like, no. Get you somebody whose job it is to help you manage money, and then go see a therapist, because you're gonna be thinking like, oh, I got this money, I'm this, I'm that, or whatever. But you're gonna have to learn how to tell your family members no. You're gonna have to learn how to not treat yourself as if you're still broke as hell. That is a real thing. And it's often why you get people in those friend groups who are like, they're very open about, you know, finances. Oh, girl, you know, we broke together, we ride together, oh, we on the come up together. And then one person is on the come up or gets like a significant pay raise, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh, now that my friends know I got this pay raise, they always want me to pay for stuff. They always want me to buy the drink rounds and stuff like that. And it's like, do they all of a sudden want you to do that? Or did you always do that, but now that you recognize consciously that you make more money than them, are you trying to protect it? Or are you highlighting the disparity in pay because of your own previous relationships? It's like you're almost like guarding yourself in a way that's like, oh, I'm not gonna let y'all steal from me. I'm not gonna let y'all take advantage of me, which is a thing, which is why I say, go get a financial advisor and go see a therapist, because they're going to really be able to pinpoint the habits that you have. Not only, randomly looking at your friends like, are you gonna want to take my money now? But just looking at the way that you spend, like literally coupled with a therapist and a financial advisor, you really be able to see the spending habits that you need to break, and the mental and emotional distress or pressure that you feel now that you've somehow made it. All right, I'm going in with this Benefit Cosmetics Boing Cakeless Concealer. I have not used any of these in so long. Absolutely ridiculous. And real quick, I'm annoyed because my TV in my office that I use as my monitor is literally just glitching, turning on, off, on, off, on, off. So I'm just using this mirror that's right here in front of me, but I would prefer not to. Anyways, so bringing both of those together will definitely iron out some things in there. Now, once all that stuff gets figured out and you know how to retain money and maintain money, then and only then can you generate generational wealth. Know that one stream of income is not the end all be all and will not make you wealthy. So whatever job you have, like rapping, singing, tech, or whatever, have multiple streams of income, bank on your talents, and get some partnerships and some collaborations so that if anything happens, your nest egg isn't built into one simple area. Because I'm not a financial advisor, that's about the most that I can say as like someone on the beginning of a wealthy climb, I guess I could say. I'm not gonna say success because my success isn't dependent upon money in the bank. Like, it's not. I'm very successful. But that's about as much as I can give on the climb. Being someone who has had to put in the work over the last 10 years on what my relationship with money looks like and what I want it to be, so that I'm not bound to it, and so that I'm not falling into, the greed or the dangerous aspects of what that could mean for me and what that means for people around me. I've always wanted to be mindful about money, especially how I rank next to people in my family, friend groups, and stuff like that, which is why I don't tell people what I give, and I'm gonna always operate in the way that I'm gonna want to operate in the first place. I'll give when I want to give, and I don't when I don't. And it just is what it is. And if I choose to be generous, I'm not looking at, people that's around me like, oh, well, they're just using me or they want to do this and that and the third. If I give, I'm giving with the intent of never getting it back. Because a lot of times when we put those stipulations on things, or when we always make it about what we pay for and, oh, you wouldn't got this without me, or every round is on me and all this other stuff, you start making those other people around you look at you funny, because now they're like, damn, why you switching up? Or why you acting like you better? This, that, and the third. And it's when we think other people care about money as much as we do, or other people have the same relationship with money as we do. And we just fall into just different types of financial pits of hell because we are not managing the things that we need to manage in order to just continue to live and stay the same. Now, it's not to say that maybe your circle won't change, because if you want more money, you need to hang around with people who know how to make more money. So it's not saying anything like that, but it's just not making you or your circle feel like they ain't shit now, or that you're somehow in a different wave than they are because they didn't make it. Because again, if you don't manage that stuff, you will quickly find yourself broke as hell all over again. And you're going to be looking to those people to be there for you, and they just won't. So I didn't take the typical how to build generational wealth route. If you want to hear, if you want to hear more on that, you can go ahead and listen to my podcast. I'm going to link that over here somewhere. It's on Spotify, Apple, and Anchor, because I did like a whole thing on just Black luxury and dove into that. But I just wanted to dive into this part of it with how we end up treating our friend groups and family members and stuff like that when we come into money, because we are not managing ourselves. So I wanted to talk about that part. Now, trauma. This is the Matchstick Espresso. I remember when people hated this damn bronzer. And I haven't used it since I rebought myself a new one. I didn't hate it, but it definitely was like a little bit on the dry side. But I will say this formula is creamier than when they first than when they first like came out with this Matchsticks Prio. I could not talk. I should have ate breakfast before I did this. But I don't think this one is gonna be, maybe. We just gonna be blending for forever. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So generational trauma. Let's talk about that. So let's say you've mastered your generational wealth. Everything is going great. Never broke again, whatever. But in other areas of our lives that we don't really contribute certain things to, we ignore because it isn't necessarily the most obvious. And I'm talking about trauma as it pertains to how you communicate within friendships, how you communicate within relationships, how you resolve conflicts. All of that shapes a lot of what goes on in our lives as we get older, especially as you get money. Like, you know, people say, well, more money, more problems. I don't think it's more money, more problems. I think it's you got more money to try to mask the issues that you were going with instead of spending your money on the therapy that you need to handle everything else that comes with success and managing your relationships, your conflict, and how you move through life. But let's bring this down from a successful, like from like a famous level or whatever you think success is that I'm talking about. I'm generally just talking about success. So whatever success looks like for you, right? You go through life and you get in a relationship. You have this idea of how you're going to be in a relationship, the type of relationship that you want, what you will and what you won't do. And then you get in it and the relationship is going terrible. And there's nothing that you can do, or you think you're doing everything that you can, and nothing is turning out for you at all. And a lot of people really don't question why, right? We look at the other person, we play the blame game, or maybe, you know, we're one of those people and we're like, well, it's me, it's my fault, I'm always messing up things, yada, yada, yada. But the fact of the matter is, when you grow up, especially as a woman, there's so much emphasis on women not being intimate or experiencing dating until they're grown, or whatever specific age group, right? We're putting all this emphasis on this because we're sexualizing little girls. But then they get grown, or we all get grown, and then all of a sudden it's, why don't you have a husband? Why can't you keep a man? Why can't you keep a relationship? Well, I don't know. The years that maybe I could have been practicing and making all of my stupid mistakes with guidance from my parent or my guardian, you kept me locked the fuck away and then sent me on my way at 21 and was like, go figure it out and go make it work. Meanwhile, all I ever saw in my own household is fighting. All I ever saw was this loud fighting, throwing shit, breaking stuff, and then to resolve it was a hug, a kiss on the neck. Oh, baby, you know I didn't mean it. You know sometimes you just make me crazy. You know sometimes I just love you so much and it just makes me lose my mind. Oh man, it's just I love you so much. You know, you just drive me crazy. You know, that's that crazy love. You know, we meant together. That is what you see growing up. So in addition to that, right? Taking it back to elementary school. You come home, you crying because some boy done pushed you down on the damn swing and your parents telling you, oh, that just means he likes you. That just means he likes you. Next time he hits you, try giving him like half of your cookie. So then you're taught to give this man something after he shows aggression to you, and then that's gonna make him feel better. So you grow up seeing it in movies, seeing it in your household, seeing it at school, seeing it in your friend groups, that to resolve conflicts is to meet a violent or aggressive behavior with complacency and a gift of some sort. And then you're taught as a woman that it is your fault and it is solely up to you to fix the problem. Now, nobody is telling you to ask questions. Nobody's telling you to assert yourself and say, don't do that. I don't like that. If you do that, we are not going to be friends. Or nobody's telling you to stand firm in who you are in these scenarios. They're telling you to don't bring it up and to bypass the situation by fixing it with something that he likes. So on the opposite side, men aren't being told how to manage their emotions. Maybe that little boy on the playground do like this girl, and that's why he pushed her. But what is he seeing at home? Is he seeing his uncle or his dad or his mom's boyfriend punch her in the face and then console her and buy her gifts? Is he seeing the dad beat his mom and then his mom comes around the corner and cooks him his favorite meal and then he's patting her on the butt talking about, that's my old lady, that's my girl, you always know how to make me feel better? What is he seeing, right? So they're also not taught at all how to just speak. Hey, my name is Tyler. I think you're cute. Hi, Tyler. I'm Kaylee. I think you're cute. Or, hi, Tyler. I'm Kaylee. I think you're cute too, but I want to just be friends. And then teaching people how to manage the inner turmoil that comes with rejection, that comes with the nervousness of even asking somebody out, the nervousness of sharing your lunch, all types of other stuff, right? So generationally, on both sides, this stuff, do I even need setting powder? I don't want to ruin it. Okay. I'm not going to use setting powder, but I will use, almost lost my mirror. I will use the Sephora Micro Smooth because this is looking bomb. Like, I don't see no under eye creasing. So we just gonna give everything a smooth finish right now. But anyway, yeah, nobody's being taught any of these things. And it takes you yourself going to a therapist and really ironing out everything that you were taught and unlearning so many different things to be the first one in your family or be the first one in your own relationship to make a purposeful effort to have a healthy relationship. And this includes trauma that we carry from relationship to relationship. Like when I was married, every time there was a conflict, my ex would always be like walking out or run away or don't want to have the conversation, just completely ignoring it, right? And I hated that shit with a passion. So after, you know, you divorce or whatever, it's just kind of like, cool, I'm never going back to this shit. Like, it was fucking terrible. I'm going to do better as I move forward. I'm going to date on purpose. I'm going to date with intent. And you have all the good intentions. But I'll never forget the first time I came up on conflict. It was the first thing that I did. And it took maybe the second time where while I was dating my girlfriend at the time, she brought it up and was like, you cannot run away from every freaking issue. And then it just kind of came to me like, wow, even though I knew I got myself out of this toxic marriage, I wasn't even aware of what I was bringing into my next relationship. Like, I wasn't even aware that the things that I didn't like and the things that were done to me, the manipulation, the emotional toxicity and stuff like that, even though I said, I'm never dealing with this, I didn't pay attention to me doing it to someone else. This is like the perfect go to work phase. I'm just feeling like perfection right now. Should I do my brows and then my eyes? I'm gonna do my eyes. Feeling like perfection. Yeah, so that was something that I learned and, you know, sought some guidance on with a therapist on just unlearning and getting back to me. And it wasn't even like, oh, I'm done with this relationship, new me, new whatever. I don't know. It was getting back to who I was before I was ever married and who I was while I was dating and stuff like that. And then fortifying that person and knowing that I don't have to sacrifice my feelings or I don't have to be silent when I know I don't like some stuff, that I don't have to be silent to avoid the conversation. I can literally confront the conversation head on and be okay with the consequence and allow the other person to make whatever decision that they want to make, because I'm going to be good regardless. When you know your worth and you know what you're not going to stand for, you have to just be like, okay, first of all, you're not about to be yelling at me. You're not about to be calling me out my name. If you cannot have any conversations without any basic respect, then we're done. And then allowing that person to be like, all right, fine, then it's over. And then you'll be like, cool. It's going to hurt for a little bit, but the moment you go back on that boundary and the moment you allow them to call your bluff, that is when you're locked in this situation. And it goes back to the trauma and stuff that we witnessed as children. Now, this is not including the type of heavy domestic abuse that happens in households, because we know that it takes people 7 attempts to successfully leave their abuser. I don't want to downplay any of that. I'm talking about the trauma that we look at as minor that turns into major situational events as we move from relationship to relationship to relationship. These are the things that we're told, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, it's nothing. Oh, it'll just blow over. But how many little crumbs, how many little specks of dust are we putting underneath the rug before it's unbearable, before it's unsightly? All right, I'm going to do my eyes with the best Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that ever came out, and it's Jackie Inez. I'm doing another video today, so I'm trying to just do an eye look that's going to go with all of these outfits. But honestly, who cares? It's going to be what it's going to be. But anyway, damn, I should have did ginger. This cute though. But anyway, these are the things that, because they're not major, because it doesn't come with black eyes, because it doesn't come with you getting robbed, because it doesn't come with you getting openly cussed out in public, it's easily ignored, right? You got people commenting like, oh, your man don't beat you, they don't cuss you out, they don't do this, so you should be happy. And it's like, toxic relationships don't have to be overtly violent for you to be in something toxic. If it does not serve you, if it does not make you feel good, get the fuck out. It is toxic to you in some way, shape, or form. If you're not progressing, if you're doubting yourself, especially when it's like, when you're doubting yourself, you're doubting your strengths, you're doubting everything that you were and everything that you are, get out. Because there's a level of manipulation that's going on. And those type of people also learn how to manipulate your family. They learn how to manipulate your friends. They learn how to manipulate your coworkers. And they've manipulated their entire family. Because their family is only going to see who they want to see. And they're not going to see the monster that they raised. They're not going to see the monster that they grew up with. So you don't have to be getting beat up to be in something that is actually beating you down. And this comes with, again, going to therapy and setting boundaries, holding on to those boundaries, even when it hurts you, right? I'm a firm believer that if it don't serve you, it's just not. And I saw something on TikTok the other day, not TikTok because I don't be on TikTok, on Twitter the other day that said something to the effect of, what is it? God is going to continue to cause chaos in a relationship that is not good for you. Stop trying to hold on. Like, if every time you look, you get into an argument over a bag of Doritos, over the way this person breathes, over the way this person put away groceries, after a while, like, there is no peace in this. So if you're finding yourself in situations where you are just miserable, and I'm talking about relationships, friendships, and you're miserable, and I'm not talking about like healthy, conflicts, because sometimes like there will be conflict. Like, you're not gonna be friends with somebody, you're not gonna be in a relationship with somebody where you're just the same and you agree on everything. But when you're doing the work and you start to see a change in how you go through things, you're just not gonna accept that same type of behavior from your partner. Now, because most people don't recognize the trauma that they saw when they were younger, I would venture on to say that most people, once you bring it up, they're gonna be surprised. Because my girlfriend and I do it now to each other, where we're just like, we'll do something and then we're like, hey, this is what you said. This is how I'm taking it. Is this what you meant? Like, where's this coming from? We have to pause a lot so that, one, we're not reacting off of emotions, right? A lot of times when we say things, what we think in our head, what we say and how it comes out, sometimes it just don't match. You have to have a dialogue in order to resolve conflict. One person cannot just be mute. Like, it does not work that way. But it has to have respect. You have to set a playing field, and everybody has to honor the stuff that is going on in that situation. Friendships, relationships, or whatever. And unfortunately, many of us just don't see that. We don't. And this includes those who never saw their parents argue, but then all of a sudden, your parents get in a divorce. Just because you never saw it doesn't mean that they did not have terrible conflict resolution situations. So when it comes to generational trauma, learning how to communicate, learning how to resolve conflict, I have learned it has just been immense in how I move in every other aspect of my life. I'm wondering, okay, because I use a Jackie on the Pilot, I'm going to do my inner corner highlight. So, an ode to Jackie. I'm gonna do sponsored. I'm trying to get sponsored on one of these videos. So, companies, hello, if you're looking, us little girls need love too. Oh, this was perfect. Anyways, I've learned that dealing with generational trauma, seeking therapy on how I deal with conflict in my relationships, conflict in my friendships, conflict in my family, has allowed me to move better as I develop new relationships, business relationships, new friendships and stuff like that, because I'm not making the same mistakes and I'm not rationalizing away behaviors in a way that I would have done a long time ago. And that really does set a tone because you see yourself differently and you know your worth in a completely new way than just walking around talking about, I know my worth. You know it in every room. In every conversation. Nobody's gonna try you anymore because people could just tell that you ain't the one. And it feels really good. Then you start to build your wealth because you're walking into a room understanding what's going on, you understand the lingo, and you're not gonna back down. And that's whether you have a strong personality or an introverted personality. I'm kind of liking looking like the Aurora Borealis over here. But you're just going to know, and people are going to know, and they're not going to try you. So definitely urge y'all to be okay with being the only one or the first one to tackle this type of event in your life, because it really does start with you. And once that kind of goes out the window and you're fixing it, the way that you speak about, I'll always be trying this. The way that you speak about generational wealth is going to change. You're no longer going to be like, oh man, black people getting money, they don't know how to handle it and all this other stuff. You're going to be one of those people that's going up to people like, hey, I see these things are changing. It would be a really good idea if you got a financial advisor. Hey, I get, our people weren't really raised with this. A lot of resources were taken away from us because people didn't want black people to have money. But now you got some money. Let's make sure we keep that money. Let's make sure we're making smart investments. Let's make sure that we're just being smart about the things that we do, because it's not going to last forever. Like, the money is not going nowhere with us. When we die, we don't keep the money. But how can we keep the money? And how can we build new habits? Because getting generational wealth is all about just building new habits. And those habits start with your relationship with money. It starts with how you see yourself, how you see these things. And you really just need to get, this eyebrow is just longer. I really hate having two different eye shapes. Essentially, it's two different eyes. I don't like it. Black liner, brown liner. We're gonna do black. And y'all already know that I don't know how to put on eyeliner and talk, so all those things basically kind of help just make you a completely better version of yourself. You're going to be the happiest that you've ever been. because certain things is just not gonna even matter anymore. And honestly, battling the trauma is gonna take your focus off the wealth. And when you're focusing on the wealth of you as a human being versus what's in your bank account, the wealth is going to show up in ways that you never, ever could have imagined. And you'll realize that while you were thinking small, the universe had something way bigger planned for you. You just had to put yourself and fight for yourself. It really is a battle. Like, sometimes I still have to battle my old habits and my old reactions from being in my way. Now, how do I do these battles? I go to the group chat and I'm like venting, like, oh, and then I calm down because I know that I'm a better person, and I know that that energy isn't going to benefit me in the long run. It'll feel good now, and then what? And it's not to say that I don't deal with things, but I'm very head on and I'm very matter of fact, because I just refuse to go through life doing the same stuff that got my family members where they are. I got my family members arguing and bickering about the same stuff from 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't want to be that person. I don't want those relationships with my siblings. I don't want those type of relationships with my friends. I don't want that relationship in my life on an intimate level. So I'm just not going to stand for it. And it's just like, I feel like the me that I was born to be, and I feel like I'm the me before I started to witness the trauma. And I feel like tackling those things and going to therapy and getting back to that brought me back to that 8-year-old who just hated injustice and hated bullying and knew, like, I'm gonna change the world one day. It brought me back to that person. And now I have this 8-year-old me and this 33-year-old me walking hand in hand, ace boon coons, best friends through life. Because everything that I experienced after that point and up until before I got to this point was things that influenced me, things that made me doubt myself, things that made me doubt my abilities, things that made me feel like I would never be where I wanted to be in life. It made me feel like my dreams would only ever be dreams. So battling through all of that, I was able, this is one of those things where they say, what would you write your younger self? I'm not writing my younger self anything. I went back to my younger self and I grabbed her hand, and we are on this journey together. I'm good. And for me, this is generational wealth. Dealing with my trauma has me now wealthy. And it ain't just a generation, of life that's coming from me. I have 6 siblings. They're seeing this. They have kids. This is going to go into their generation. I talk to my nephews. I talk to my nieces. Talk to my siblings. Talking to my parents about legacy and stuff like that. Them understanding through me, like, it is not too late to reconfigure your mind and what that looks like and what you want to leave behind. And I just want to leave behind something impactful. And I think almost everybody does. And it just really, 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 and it sounds so corny, it really starts with you. Tackle that trauma head on, and wealth will be in abundance. So that's enough of my sermon. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this look and come back on camera, and we're gonna close this out. That is going to wrap up today's video. I know that it was heavy, but honestly, this is a space that I am in life. So any type of mental health or trauma or whatever, whether it's talking about the bad or talking about the things that can be good, will be infused in these videos from here on out, because I'm just in a space in my life where I am too grown to be carrying around things that just do not serve a purpose. So let me know in the comments below if you want to keep having this conversation on things that you've done to get past some trauma, maybe some trauma that you're currently recognizing that you didn't know how to get out of, and maybe this video has helped you. Or even if you're not out of it, just having a conversation and removing the shame from everything that comes with that. This is a safe space, and we want everybody over here on this side to always have room to just be able to speak, no judgment whatsoever. So if you like this video, go ahead and like, comment, share. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Again, as always, follow me on my socials over here, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. If you converse, I will converse back because, baby, I love to talk. So stay tuned for my next video. And if you're already caught up, just go ahead and run a few of those back, okay? Watch the evolution of Kivonshe up in here, okay? And even if you comment on something old, I will comment. So I'm going to see y'all in the next one.